look at John the Baptizer, Jesus Christ, to talk about a subject Paul that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. This is something that has been near and dear to me that I've been wanting to do a video on for the longest. And this is probably just going to be an introduction. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this or talking about the subject. Well, I might. But this is just an introduction video to what I want to talk about. I don't know if you guys remember growing up the Revelations book. I remember it clear as day. It was like one of my favorite books growing up as a kid, and I remember studying from the book, and we studied from the Revelations book several times growing up. I don't know if any of you guys recall the pictures in the book, but I remember looking at the pictures and just seeing how beautiful they looked, especially when they talked about the 144,000 and Jesus and his bride, and it was just a very vivid portrayal, artistic portrayal of Revelations. When it talked about not John the Baptizer, I'm sorry, the Apostle John, and you see the 4 horsemen and the trumpeters in the book. And I remember reading this book as a kid. One of the things that really struck me in this book was that me being a black person and not trying to make it seem like I have to be overly represented, but growing up, I never saw hardly any black people portrayed from a biblical standpoint in any of the Watchtower's publications as a kid. Ever. And I know people are like, well, it doesn't matter, it's just a portrayal, it's not accurate, it doesn't have to necessarily be accurate. And I beg to differ. I remember seeing this picture at the end of the Revelations book where these older white people are around a pond, and it looks like an angel that has like a light. And I think they're talking about I'm gonna have to look at this picture again, but I have a picture up here to show you guys what I'm talking about. But there was a lot of racial supremacy in the Watchtower's publications growing up. And I remember this clear as day when I was a kid. And I know everybody's like, well, that's just a picture, it doesn't mean anything. But I remember watching this video by Vera747. I don't know if she still posts videos, but I used to love her videos because she talked about racial supremacy within the Watchtower's artwork. And this was something that was so second nature to me as a kid. I never noticed it until I got older, that there was only white people portrayed in the Watchtower's biblical portrayal of characters. And I don't want to say characters, but the people in the Bible. When you look at John the Baptizer, Jesus Christ, Paul, when you look at anybody in the Bible, especially in the New Testament, the Old Testament too, when you have like Isaiah, and when you have David, and Abraham, and Moses, and even Adam and Eve. This is a form of racial supremacy, and I wanted to do a video on this, and I've been wanting to do a video on it for a long time, to talk about this and how that affects people's self-esteem and their self-worth and who they are. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, but I've held back for so long on not talking about it. And even when you look at publications like My Book of Bible Stories and the Live Forever book, and I remember reading these books growing up, and how they might have portrayed a black couple or any other non-white couple in the publications from a modern day aspect, but from a historical aspect, they never were portrayed in the publications. And I want people to really understand where I am coming from with this, and how I really feel that this is an issue that needs to be addressed. I know when Vera747 told me, well, she didn't tell me personally, but I watched her video, when she called Bethel, and how she said that there was no black people portrayed in the publications. How the brothers at Bethel told her not to pay attention to the pictures, just look at the words. And this is something that I just couldn't believe they said that to her. I mean, does it matter? Of course it matters. It matters. And I get tired of people saying that it doesn't matter when it does matter, because that plays on a child's self-esteem. They did an experiment on black children. This experiment was originally done in the 1950s, but it was done a few years ago. It might have been done, I mean, you could do the experiment anytime. I guarantee you, if I did the experiment on my nephew, he would probably choose what doesn't look like him over an image that does look like him. But I want to talk about this experiment that was done, about how these black children preferred the white child over the black child. And it's something that needs to be addressed, because everybody deserves to be represented. They deserve to be represented. They deserve to see something that looks like them. This isn't a form of racial how do I put this? This isn't a form of racial entitlement and feeling like, well, I'm going to kill what doesn't look like me. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying everybody deserves to see something that looks like them. And this is something that I was too scared to do a video on, but I'm like, shit, hell, I'm going to do a video on it. Because it needs to be addressed. Because I know, growing up, looking at the Watchtower's publications, how I never saw anything that represented who I was. I saw pictures that didn't look like me. And it is important, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be talked about. Because this is a subtle form of racism that needs to be talked about. It's very subtle. You're not like my friend told me. Nowadays, you're not going to get the outright racism. You're going to get more of a subtle racism. And I completely agree with her. Completely. It's going to be more subtle. But I'm going to end this video. But I just wanted to talk about this. And this is going to be an introduction, because I'm going to point out more things that I've seen in the Watchtower's publications that is basically a form of racism. Subtle racism, but not the outright racism. So I'm going to end this video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.